There are good season and bad season in Japan. But do you actually have a choice when to visit Japan? Work, school, family, health, dog. Sometimes you are stuck to fixed schedule. The beautiful season are often said cherry blossom season and autumn foliage season, but maybe that's not the point for you. And the best season can be sometimes the busiest and the most expensive season. So in this video, I'd like to talk about the best season for different purposes to visit Japan, and also I'd like to talk about the solution for the case you have to visit during the not so good season, like midsummer. This is the third tip of 30 travel tips of Japan. When to visit Japan. First, let's go over the season from January to December, what you can expect during your stay in Japan. January starts with the New Year holidays, and usually from the 1st to the 3rd, Japanese people take day off to go to praying in the shrine or temples. Cities are vivid, with lots of people going shopping and going praying, but many stores can be closed, especially small individual shops. So if you have a specific shop you like to visit during that time, you might want to check with the store. And after the New Year's, it can be a very quiet time, one of the most off-season throughout the year. And hotels and theme parks can be a little more reasonable this time of the year, but some area might get affected by the Lunar New Year's by other Asian countries. Japan doesn't celebrate Lunar New Year's, but other country does, so they might visit Japan for that holiday. The big event during this time of the year is the Sapporo Snow Festival. Come to the snow, even though it's supposed to be off the season, not in the snow resort. Like top ski resorts like Hokkaido, Nagano can be the top season during this time. In March, early cherry blossom starts to bloom, and this is the season, depending on where you go, you see different scenery. If you go to mountain region or northern Japan, they are still under the deep snow. But in the Tokyo, you start to see the blooming of the flowers for springs. And in Okinawa, some beach starts to open. And the end of the March to the early April, the cherry blossom starts to bloom across Japan. And usually it starts from Tokyo or southern part of Japan, and it goes towards north throughout to the April. It may begin with the Golden Week, which is one of the biggest holidays throughout the year in Japan. As the weather gets better, many people travel during this time, so things can be very busy. But city can be a little more empty during this time. And for international travelers, after Golden Week, one of the best seasons in my opinion. It can be a little bit less people, everyone is back to work, and it's a nice mild weather that you can wear short sleeves usually. But this good season doesn't last that long, because from May, from Okinawa, rainy season starts. Usually, most of Japan except Hokkaido is covered by rainy season. This rainy season varies. Some years the rain continues, but some years it can be very dry, that you see very sunny days and can be very hot. And this rainy season usually finishes by July, and you see midsummer. It can be very nice weather across Japan, but it can be very hot. Tokyo's heat can be about 40 degrees Celsius, 100 Fahrenheit. But you also find only summer fun like festivals and fireworks. And summer has another big holiday called Obon holiday. It's a tradition that your ancestor comes back to the cemetery or your home, so everyone go back to the hometown for about a week or 10 days. So this is another busy season that people go to different places for sightseeing and leisure. And this summer heat will come down by early September and autumn starts. But this typhoon season is around this time too. So typhoon can come anytime, but once it comes, long distance train can stop, can bring up lots of barriers to your travel. So this is one season you might want to be careful for the weather forecast. In the transition from summer to autumn can be raining, but the weather gets much milder and easier to walk outside. And autumn foliage start from the end of September in the mountain region, and it continues towards the December in Tokyo. And by December, cities are filled with illuminations for holiday season. Japan doesn't celebrate Christmas as a holiday, but everyone celebrates as an event. So you have extra fun to enjoy the cities during the December. And after the Christmas, Japanese people get ready for the New Year's holidays, which is more important for Japanese people. And this is the all-over image of the year from January to December. And from that, Which season sounded like the best one for you? And usually spring after cherry blossom season and autumn are the best season. You can see the beautiful cherry blossoms and lots of greens after that. And autumn it's beautiful with lots of autumn fall trees. But it can be also expensive season all over the country. So you might want to make sure to make reservation in advance if you go to a popular spot like Kyoto. If you are coming to Japan for autumn foliage, recent years it's getting a little later than before. And usually in Tokyo or Kyoto, you can see end of November towards early December. And this is just a tendency and not guaranteed. But as it gets closer to the winter, the days are sunnier. But this is for usual sightseeing and depends on the activities. Other season might be better for you. For example, if you go to like a national parks like Mount Fuji, you can see more clearly in winter time and it's snow capped, just like you imagine when you hear Mount Fuji. So in December, you start to see the beautiful Mount Fuji with snows, and sometimes it can be a little bit later. And for January, February, March, you can see the most beautiful Mount Fuji, fully covered with snow. If you go to Kamikochi or Alpine route of Japan's Alps area, you might want to be careful because they are closed during the midwinter. They close in certain dates in November to April, so during that time, unless you are a serious winter mountain climber, regular tourists cannot enter there. So that is something you might want to be careful. So you might want to make sure to check the closing date and opening date if you are visiting in November or April. In case you come to Japan for the winter activities like skiing, snowboarding, end of December usually ski resort opens. And it continues sometime towards early May with limited courses. Mostly probably it's better to think it's until the end of March with lots of snows. But this time of the year, like top resorts like Hokkaido's Niseko, Furano, Nagano's Hakuba, Shiga Koen can be very busy. And in order to, so I tried to book the hotel in Nozawa one time because I want to enjoy the skiing and also the hot springs and just kind of strolling around town. Those perfect spots are so expensive for what I get. So you might want to be able to ready for the budget and also and make sure to make reservation in advance because popular resort can be full so quickly. And in case you like to save the budget, saving budget is the most important for you. And probably two things that cost the most is the hotels and the airfares. Maybe you can look for the cheapest tickets and see throughout the year when you can find the reasonable flight. And hotel is a little more easier to save as there are lots of choices. If you visit cities and times that are not listed as the best season, like Tokyo or Kyoto in midwinter or midsummer can be a little more reasonable. So avoiding the busy season can be a best hack for saving the budget. But now, what if you have to visit in the so-called the worst season, like summer? I think for Japan trips, the different factors can be called not so good, but probably that will be summer heat, typhoon, and crowded long holidays. Summer is not a good season, especially if you are visiting with someone with senior group or someone has physical difficulties. But if you have to visit maybe in daytime, which can be the hottest, you can try to stay indoors like shopping malls, aquarium or museums. At night, you can do more things. There are lots of different tools to hack. Like there's a kind of cold towel to put around and there's an electric fan that you can hold around. But I think very important thing is to stay hydrated and take a rest well and also use the umbrella to protect your head from the sun. It can be hot and cap, but I think umbrella is very good because the air goes through so it doesn't get much hot. Japanese summer can be very humid. And next one is a storm, which can be often happen in midsummer to early autumn. And if storm comes, the problem is the long distance train can stop. So recently they stop in advance so passenger doesn't get stuck on train. Sometimes I see news that all the trains are stopped suddenly and passengers are stuck on the train. The point is if you have a choice, maybe it's good to stay in the city. And so you can have a little more accessibility as subway is usually moving and you can go to different places and stores are usually not closing. But in case you have no choice, you have to get on those trains, make sure you bring lots of food and drinks, because after a while they might give away the emergency water to you, but it might take time. Make sure to bring lots of food and drinks, except the equipment like a bento lunchbox. So I always buy a lot and always end up eating everything in fast, like 10 minutes or something. But it's always to save some for later, so you can have it for emergency. In my opinion, always a little too much is better. But first of all, make sure to check the weather forecast while you're staying in Japan. And is there any hack for the long holidays, like a golden week? Usually for those long holidays or long weekend, the sightseeing spots like or theme parks like Disneyland, Universal Studios can be very busy, but in the city can be sometimes empty. If your itinerary is hitting those holidays, maybe good to put those days in staying in the city, and after that you can go to across Japan. But I know it doesn't go that well, and in case you have to go travel around, maybe you can make sure to book in advance. Japanese train company starts accepting reservation a month before, either 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. And a Shinkansen like Tokaido route from Tokyo to Kyoto, Osaka, they start to accept reservation a year ago for the full rate and 3 months in advance for the discount rate. So which season looks like your favorite season to visit Japan? So now that you know where to go in Japan and when to visit Japan, you may wonder how much should you prepare for the trip? Like how much things cost in Japan? So in the next video, I'd like to talk about how much things cost in Japan. How much maybe you need to save for Japan trip. Thank you for watching. Have a great trip to Japan.